Chapter 1, The Seed of Insight, How Li Ka-shing Began to Lead with Wisdom. From a humble apprentice selling rice in a bustling Hong Kong market to becoming one of the world's most respected tycoons, Li Ka-shing's journey is a masterclass in using wisdom to guide leadership. He has repeatedly stated that knowledge is power, but wisdom is the tool that turns that power into lasting influence. In the early days, Li observed that the richest minds were not those who had the most information, but those who knew how to ask the right questions. In 1962, after struggling with a loan to buy a textile factory, Li famously said, "If one must wait for a golden opportunity, one must stay ready." The lesson from my first failure was that opportunity never knows the moment I need it. He used that early setback as a crucible, turning disappointment into a lesson on patience and long-term vision. Key lessons. 1. Embrace failure as a teacher. Every setback becomes data if you're willing to analyze it. Li's early business losses taught him to refine his risk assessment before taking the next step. 2. Ask questions, not just give answers. He often reminds young leaders, a good leader asks, "What do you need most right now?" rather than "Here, what I've decided." 3. Build resilience through humility. By admitting, "I don't know everything" at 18, Li invited advisors who sharpened his judgment and broadened his perspective. How to apply today. Pause before action. Count to 10, write down 2 or 3 questions you could ask your team. What's blocking progress? Or, where does your next big insight lie? Create a failure tracking log. Note each obstacle, the reaction, and the outcome. Review it monthly to uncover patterns. Solicit honest feedback. Make it a weekly ritual. If you were in my shoes, how would you resolve this? Takeaway: wisdom isn't innate. It's cultivated through reflection on both victories and failures. As Li once said, to lead is to ask the right question before you ask for answers. Action, like this video, share one question you've used that transformed a project, and subscribe for more insights on turning knowledge into strategic wisdom. Reflective question. When was the last time you used failure as a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block? Chapter 2, The Compass of Courage. 5 Pillars of Li's Wisdom in Leadership. Li's leadership is often described as soft power with a hard edge. His teachings revolve around 5 intertwined principles that have directed his decisions across industries, from real estate and telecommunications to philanthropy. 1. Strategic patience. Opportunities are invisible until you look for them. 2. Calculated risk-taking. Risk is the currency of progress. You invest only after a thorough audit. 3. Integrity in all transactions. Your reputation is the only guarantee that can outlast your bank balance. 4. People as partners. A company's true strength lies in its teams, not its assets. 5. Global vision with local sensitivity. Investing abroad is only profitable when you respect the land and its people. Stories that illustrate each pillar. Strategic patience. In 1980, Li's conglomerate chose to wait 5 years before entering the U.S. telecom market, a decision that paid off when spectrum values exploded in the 90s. Calculated risk-taking. He once poured $300 million into a nascent microelectronics venture, a move that seemed risky. His rigorous due diligence report, which included scenario simulations, reduced uncertainty. Integrity. During the Asian financial crisis, Li refunded all investor funds that had been misappropriated by a subsidiary, even though recovering the money was almost impossible at the time. People as partners. He established merit-based promotions at Chung Kong Holdings, insisting that talent will rise if you give them the right environment. Global vision with local sensitivity. While expanding into Singapore, Li worked closely with the local council to tailor energy policies that benefited both the city and his company. Practical takeaways. Create a risk audit worksheet. For every potential venture, list the assumptions, upside, downside, and mitigation strategies. Schedule quarterly reputation audits. Gather anonymous employee surveys to gauge trust and alignment. Build a cross-functional leadership council. Invite peers from finance, operations, and HR to review every major decision. Local first research. Before entering any new market, spend a week in the local community, attend the markets, listen to the residents, and understand the cultural nuances. Takeaway: Li's pillars aren't just theoretical. They're practical tools that turn visionary ideas into sustainable successes. Action: like this video if these 5 pillars resonate with you. Share how you'll incorporate one of them into your next project, and subscribe for deeper dives into each principle. Reflective question: which of Li's 5 pillars do you find most challenging to practice in your workplace, and why? Chapter 3: From Boardroom to Brainstorm, Li's live application of wisdom. While the principles above set a theoretical framework, Li Ka-shing demonstrated how they work in practice, by acting decisively and ethically in critical moments. A turning point: acquisition of Hutchison Whampoa. In 1993, Hutchison Whampoa floated on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. Li saw a chance not to buy, but to acquire a majority stake in a company that had untapped potential. He applied strategic patience. He waited until Hutchison's stock dipped 12% below its intrinsic value. Calculated risk-taking. He committed $3 billion of his own capital, ensuring ownership alignment. Integrity. During the talks, Li maintained transparency with Hutchison's board, offering them a fair valuation rather than a predatory offer. People as partners. He promised the employees of Hutchison a restructuring plan that would preserve jobs and upgrade training, fostering loyalty. The acquisition became a textbook case of turning a complex opportunity into a clean, ethical win that benefited shareholders, employees, and the broader economy. Philanthropic wisdom. Li Ka-shing Memorial College of Science and Technology. In 2006, Li invested $200 million to build a cutting-edge educational institution focusing on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics (STEM). He used the same framework. Strategic patience. He waited for a partnership with a leading university that would guarantee quality education. Calculated risk-taking. He financed the campus with a mix of equity and a modest bond, keeping debt at a manageable 30% of assets. Integrity. He donated 50% of the college's endowment with no strings attached, creating an entirely independent scholarship program. People as partners. He involved the local community in the design of the campus, ensuring the facilities served broader needs. Practical lessons. Decision-making matrix. Align each potential move against Li's pillars. If any score falls below a threshold, reassess. Stakeholder communication. Draft a single-page outline of how every stakeholder, investors, employees, community, will benefit. Personal investment. Even if the financial upside is great, consider allocating personal capital to align your interest with the community. Takeaway: Li's real-world actions teach us that wisdom leads to strategy that is measurable, ethical, and inclusive. Action: like this video if you're inspired to bring your own wisdom into decision-making. Share how you'll align your actions with these pillars, and subscribe for ongoing mentorship. Reflective question. In one of your past projects, how can you identify where you compromised on integrity or people-first principles? Chapter 4: Mastering the Modern Battlefield, Applying Li's Wisdom Today. In the age of rapid technological disruption and global interconnectedness, Li's timeless teachings are more relevant than ever. Here's how you, as a modern leader, can translate his wisdom into everyday business practice. 1. Harness strategic patience in digital transformation. Do not jump on every tech fad. Strategy: create a 5-year roadmap that evaluates each technology's ROI, risk, and alignment with core mission. Action: set up a quarterly review panel of tech veterans to assess progress. 2. Make calculated risk-taking a habit. Use scenario planning. Example: when launching a new product in an emerging market, model 3 scenarios. A. All-in success. B. Moderate gain. C. Failure. Prepare contingency actions for each. Measure: keep a risk register. Learn from both successes and failures to refine the process. 3. Embed integrity in corporate culture. Transparency: publish quarterly impact reports, financial, social, and environmental. Community: Offer an open door policy for whistleblowing with guaranteed protection. Action, rotate ethics training, focusing on real-world dilemmas rather than theoretical questions. #4, treat people as partners, as human capital investment. Growth plans, provide each employee a 2-year development plan tied to measurable KPIs. Recognition, celebrate micro-victories publicly to reinforce collective ownership. Action, hire 5% of new staff from underrepresented groups to diversify talent and perspective. #5, master the global vision with local sensitivity. Cultural immersion, before launching in a new market, immerse your team in local festivals, languages, and regulations. Policy alignment, build partner networks with NGOs and local business associations to co-create solutions. Action, offer internships for local students, creating a pipeline of talent acquainted with your brand from the ground up. Practical checklist for leaders. Pillar Quick Check implementation tip. Strategic patience, have a 5-year tech roadmap. Conduct annual tech horizon planning sessions. Risk-taking, do you maintain a risk register? Digitalize it, track outcomes quarterly. Integrity, are reports public? Publish third-party audit findings. People, do you set growth plans? Use OKR tools aligned with corporate mission. Global sensitivity, do you engage local partners? Set up community advisory boards. Takeaway, by fusing Li Ka-shing's wisdom with contemporary tools, digital dashboards, scenario planning, mentorship programs, you can build organizations that adapt, endure, and thrive. Action, like if you found these practical tools useful, share one you're committed to adopting, and subscribe for more actionable leadership content. Reflective question, which pillar will you integrate first into your next project, and how will you measure its impact? Chapter 5, the legacy continues, turning wisdom into your own masterpiece. As we close, think of Li Ka-shing's journey not as a distant chronicle, but as a living blueprint. His leadership is rooted in the conviction that wisdom is a moving target, always evolving as you learn more about yourself, your team, and the world. Final call to action, your path forward. 1. Start a wisdom journal. Record daily insights from conversations, meetings, and setbacks. 2. Launch a quarterly wisdom review with your core team. Evaluate how decisions aligned with the 5 pillars. 3. Create a legacy project. Dedicate a resource, time, money, or network to something that will outlive you, be it mentoring, sustainability work, or community education. If you commit to these actions, you are not just following Li Ka-shing. You are becoming the architect of a new, wiser legacy that can inspire future generations. Key takeaways. Wisdom is cultivated through reflection, humility, and courageous questioning. Li's 5 pillars serve as a practical compass for leaders navigating uncertainty. Real-world applications show that strategic patience, calculated risks, integrity, people-first mindset, and global sensitivity yield sustained success. Modern leaders can inject Li's teachings into technology adoption, risk management, ethics, talent cultivation, and cross-cultural expansion. Your personal contribution to a lasting legacy is the true measure of leadership. Like, share, and subscribe so we can keep building wisdom together. Tag your comments with Lead with Wisdom, and let's inspire a community of thoughtful leaders. Final reflective question. What will be the first tangible act that transforms your current leadership practice into a legacy of wisdom?